This video is brought to you by me. For $1 a month, you can support the channel directly and help me keep doing what I love. Thanks for watching and supporting. How did I miss this one? As someone who grew up on the Tony Hawk games, I have covered a lot of the releases on this channel, from the ports I grew up with on N64 through the underground stories, and lastly to the end of the golden era with American Wasteland. But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 slipped through the cracks, similarly to how late I got the game when I had my Xbox. I'd briefly played it on school computers when they forgot to remove the games from the summer camp program, and I remember playing as Jango Fett. But it dawned on me while I was playing this game that I think it might be the only mainline Tony Hawk game that I hadn't finished until now, which gave me an interesting opportunity to finish a game for the very first time in 2022 in this series that I have loved since I was a kid. In fact, the only real concrete memory I have of trying to beat this game is playing it, Xbox propped up on my lap, portable screen on top, on a car ride, which in hindsight was a pretty risky maneuver given how loosely the discs sit in the system. So enough reminiscing, let's take a look at Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, a pivotal game in the Tony Hawk series that would set the tone for the games going forward. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 was a dividing line for the series. It took a look back on what made the series good while reinventing the formula for the future of the series. With it came a new sense of freedom while retaining the gold system from previous games. Like before, the player chooses a pro skater or creates their own. There are a bunch of classic skaters here from the early days of the series like Bob Burnquist, The King, and my favorite skater Rodney Mullen, and Kareem Campbell. In total, there are 14 skaters right out of the gate. I decided to go with Bam Margera because I recently started getting into classic Jackass, and Bam was at the top of my mind. Nothing soothes the nerves like a kick to the groin that you didn't personally receive. The game starts you out in a university campus, which is convenient. Even if you played all the games, you have a lot to learn. Might as well do it in college. It's here where the player gets a taste of the openness of the new levels. There's no timer ticking down, no combo or skate letters hovering over the ramps initially. Rest in peace, hidden tapes, you will be missed. Instead, there are people around who you can interact with. These NPCs give you goals to complete, and this is where some of the familiarity returns. You'll be busting high scores, collecting skate and combo, and it acts as a good grounding point for how the rest of the game will work and how you'll progress through the levels. Instead of giving you a list of goals and 2 minutes to do as many as possible, you're only tasked with focusing on one at a time, which feels entirely different. In Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, the manual was introduced, allowing for longer combos. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 perfected the formula by allowing players to revert and keep combos going on half pipes and quarter pipes. Finally, sanding off the few remaining edges here were acid drops and spine transfers, letting you transition from one quarter pipe to one directly behind it. One other minor addition to the formula in 4 is skitching, which allows players to grab the backs of cars and vehicles and ride along with them, gaining speed the longer they are holding it. While I'm glad it's here, it's not something I go out of my way to use during combos. In most instances, skitching is a novelty used in challenges specifically built around it, usually going alongside the speed that can be attained while doing it. So while it's not a huge game changer, it ties into the momentum that makes the Tony Hawk games feel so great. This also brings me to how varied the new goal system is. If you're looking for varied objectives, this game and most subsequent releases are for you. For instance, on the very first level, a group of pranksters are stealing a professor's car. In order to get it back, you have to sketch on the car until they give up. Without serious reworking, this kind of mission wouldn't really succeed in the rigid 2-minute time limit. With these missions, required assets can be loaded and unloaded as you start and stop the missions. So by adding markers to the levels, the developers could create interesting scenarios. Having all the goals live in a sandbox could get clunky and cluttered if they were trying to shove all the new goals into an always populated environment. Each level features around 16 goals to start with, and you can unlock more through completing challenges. The main game has 7 levels. As you complete challenges, you earn cash that can be spent on gear, secret skaters, and 2 extra levels. The gear and special costumes are staples in the series, with each skater sporting their own line of boards, and the costumes are just for some cosmetic fun. The secret skaters are pretty classic here too, with Jango Fett being mentioned earlier, and Eddie, Iron Maiden's mascot. The 2 secret levels are Carnival and Chicago from Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2 at the time. These levels join College, San Francisco, Alcatraz, Kona Skate Park, Shipyard, London, and Zoo. Of these, my favorites were College, Alcatraz, Shipyard, and Carnival. I think this preference came down to one particular factor: verticality. Each of these levels have you navigating multiple levels up and down, especially Alcatraz. This sense of height made the game interesting and created interesting challenges. Alcatraz had you helping a prisoner create a diversion so he could escape. The carnival challenged you to ride the entire roller coaster in one grind. This stuff broke up the usual high score attacks and the like, allowing the series to get into its fun sense of humor. The San Francisco Pier had you saving a tourist from killer seals, for instance. While you could always replay the game with multiple skaters, the game gives you a reason to go back by giving you pro challenges dedicated to each individual skater. When I finished the main game, I unlocked a pro challenge for Bam, which took place in Alcatraz. I had to ride a shopping cart through a series of obstacles without crashing, harkening back to the glory days of Jackass. But each pro has their own challenges for them, and unlocking them gives you even more of a reason to replay the game. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is like the bridge between the old school and new school. It had one foot set in the original trilogy, and the other foot was pointed where the series was going. It offered many different levels that weren't really connected, but what it brought new was the ability to skate around freely without a timer. Through this, you can skate up to many different people and take on tasks in the order you want. This new system was familiar enough to not be daunting, and looking forward, the series has a lot to thank Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 for. So what's your favorite Tony Hawk Pro Skater game? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, why don't you subscribe for more videos like this? If you want to support the channel directly, you can check out my Patreon in the link below. For $1 a month, you can help keep the channel going while getting some free bonuses, and early access to all my videos. I'd like to take a minute and thank my higher tier patrons, Kaylee, Kuda Hori, Andrew Donahoe, Andrew Elmore, Benjamin, BBF and Bloxburg, Just Jessica, Conjo, and Okayla. Thanks for watching.